Hello, Faithbox community. Today's action point is called Take a Day Off. And of course, as you know, we've been dealing with grief, and we will be the whole month of March. And I felt like I had something to add to this. I wanted to share something with you that might help put this into a more realistic focus for you. How important it really is when you are going through something to get away and to remove yourself from the environment that might be adding weight to you without you even realizing it. When my son died in December, it was the end of January that my boys got together and got us a weekend in New York for my husband's birthday. Now, to tell you the truth, I didn't really want to go. I was in that immobilized state, that paralysis state where I was just kind of still walking through fog and trying to figure things out. But we went, obviously. And what I want to share really coincides with this theme. When we got to New York City, something happened, and I realized it came into focus on the way back home when we got back into our area. And I realized that tiny bit of the heaviness was lifted as we left the atmosphere of our normal environment. So yeah, was our hearts still heavy and broken? Of course. But there was something about getting away from the familiar that gave us a respite, gave us room to breathe for a little bit. And so I would say that this point in your devotional today about take a day off, find that time to get away is huge. It's very important. In our relationship, of course, being a married couple, in Ecclesiastes 4, there's a verse that says, two are better than one, for if one falls down, the other one can pick them up. And it was thereafter that we went away to New York City that I realized that occasionally I would have to push for my husband and I to get away for the day or for the weekend, whichever would work into our schedules. And then he would also, because we found that what happened was when we got away from the normal, it just gave us time to recharge. Now, what I'd like to share is twofold. That if you are in grief, sometimes you don't even have the, you don't have the energy to plan a trip away. Take a baby step. Maybe just say, let's go to the park for the day. Get a friend to be your accountability partner to say, hey, listen, I'll get stuck here, so force me. Come over and force me. My girlfriends did that for me. They knew how I was. So they would come over and say, hey, we're going out to lunch. And we would never go to a real public place. We'd go either to somebody's house or somewhere quaint so that I wouldn't feel the extra burden of having to face people in the community while I was walking through grief. Because sometimes you don't have the energy for that. You just want to have that special alone time. You're processing. You're going through something that's out of your norm. So I would say on that level, if you're married, help each other through this by pushing the other one to come out of their comfort zone during this time of grief and to do something different. And maybe it's simply like going to a play or a musical, a concert, a park, the zoo, just a different environment. The other thing I would say for those of you that are not in grief, look around, because I'm sure we all know somebody that is suffering and walking through something hard. Make it your mission to initiate something for them. You know, even if you show up at their house unexpectedly and you give them an invite, have it written down and say, next Friday, I'm picking you up, gives you enough time, and we're going to do something special, something that will get that particular person who is grieving out of their house, out of the familiar. Because I'm telling you, just being in the familiar environment, it does weigh you down and it can bury you. And just getting away from it just gives you that small respite of a time to breathe. And it's absolutely necessary. So your Faith Box initiative about taking the day off, it's right on the money. Please don't take it for granted. You know, look around, say to yourself, let me help somebody if I'm not in grief. And if I am, and I am married, or I'm a sister or an aunt or a niece, then let me reach out and let me initiate a time to get somebody away for a little bit during this very hard trial in their life. I'm telling you, it's guaranteed to just give that person what they need to walk through this very difficult journey. I thank you so much for allowing me to give you some input. And I thank the Faith Box people for picking such a theme this month because it's so vitally important. One way or another, we will all go through grief. It's just the nature of being on this earth. So thank you and God bless.